time is up to depart. He would say with pride in heart, I'll be back, you could bet your life. And if I can't come, I will send my wife. And then he'll tell you, he really wants her to come, to drink some rum and have plenty fun, in this great island in the sun. For Trinidadian, as foreigners do recall, it doesn't matter whether big or small, or if you're rich or poor, friends, we cater for one and all. So all of them were talking, they either drunk or they staring mad, or maybe they forgetting Mr. Universe belongs to Trinidad. And yet we have men of talent and skill, with high hopes of improving still. And if you think all this is a lie, the mighty sniper won't tell you why. Now our steel band is the best talent in this world. Like calypsos or stories are told, with this rhythm to touch your soul. So Trinidad,
yes, indeed, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, east, west, north, south, central, in Trinidad, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. I know Tobago would have had, of course, a situation with, of course, the PNM electing, of course, their regional team, so to speak, to handle the Tobago arm of the PNM, Trinidad and Tobago leg. It's important that I say that. But let's take in, of course, this what I consider to be nationalistic and nostalgic piece of patriotic music.
Trinidad is my land, and of it I am proud and glad. But I can't understand why some people just talk it bad. But I know all of them we running them out. Don't know where they're talking about. They will paint your black every day, and the right things they will never say. Like our sportsmen being rated among the best. Our scholars have sit and passed every test, and put us right alongside the rest. But then our pitch lake is the greatest one of its kind. Our sugar and oil is ready refined. So you see, friends, this is a real piece of no man's mind. They just talk some nonsense, me ain't know where they're doing it for. About so much violence, man, you would swear that we're fighting war. Of course, we have we delinquents to face, but just like any other place, look, things that I say about here is really too much for me to bear, because my people are daily making progress without any form of stupidness.
My brothers and sisters, we assemble in the heart of our people to discuss the organs of our party that are strong, that are working. Today we declare in the loudest voice possible that brighter days are coming under the USC and Camp Dr. San.
USC family! How are you feeling? Honorable Prime Minister, Cabinet and Parliamentary colleagues, members of the National Executive, local government representatives, delegates, UNC members, my brothers and sisters all, welcome to the House of the Rising Sun. Better days are coming. What an incredible moment in the life of our great party and our great nation. I feel the energy. I feel.
My brothers and sisters, we assemble in the hearts of our people to discuss the organs of our party that are strong, that are working. Today we declare in the loudest voice possible that brighter days are coming under the UNC and Camp Dr. San, etc.
UNC family! How are you feeling? Honorable Prime Minister.
When we got into office,
small but overwhelming
everywhere.
And as you know,
This year, we have over 200 buildings. Can you imagine? Imagine we have controls, our Honorable Attorney General, and all those associated with the crime family. We have brought that down, and we are not satisfied. We are not.
I have said it. I have said it.
UNC family! How you feeling? Honorable Prime Minister, Cabinet and Parliamentary colleagues, members of the National Executive, local government representatives, delegates, UNC members, my brothers and sisters all, welcome to the House of the Rising Sun. Better days are coming. What an incredible moment in the life of our great party and our great nation. I feel the energy. I feel the pride. I feel the unshakable spirit of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Today, this is more than a gathering. This is a celebrator of resilience. This is a declaration of hope. This is the sound of a people who refuse to give up on their country. But let us be clear today. This is not about looking backward or playing games. It is about understanding the depth of the work required to move forward. And in this effort, we are guided by the steady, experienced, and courageous leadership of our beloved Prime Minister, Kamala Harris.
Television cameras as we welcome Prime Minister KPB 2.0.
If Trinidad is a boat sailing on the earth, go sail on it. Oh Lord, I go sail on it. Whether it fast or slow, wheresoever it goes, I go in with it. Tell them I go in with it. I go sail when the tide is flat. I go sail when the tide is near. If she go sailing with the boat, sink or float, a sailing with the boat. A sailing with the boat, sink or float, a sailing with the boat. Through hurricane and storm, hell or high water come. And when she needs a push, I'm going to push like bush. If Trinidad is a boat, I go sail on it, sink or float.
have under scrutiny, who plotting mutiny, and I'm watching them. I say I'm watching them. Who giving the captain lip, and all who abandon ship, and I'm marking them. I say I'm marking them. Stowaways, keeping free passage, castaways with excess baggage. Crimson pirates moving in to kill, but are sailing still. I say are sailing still. Are sailing with the boat, sink or float. Are sailing with the boat. Are sailing with the boat, sink or float. Are sailing with the boat. Through hurricane and storm, hell or high water come. And when she needs a push, I'm going to push like push. If Trinidad is a boat, I go sail on it, sink or float. I am a sailor by birth, calypso in me through, and I'm sailing on. I say I'm sailing on. Trinbago is my tag, white and black is my flag, and I'm moving on. I say I'm moving on. It is right that I be on board, for in spite of the small reward, as she hastens to her destiny, she ain't leaving me, no how she leaving me. I'm sailing with the boat, sink or float. I'm sailing with the boat. I'm sailing with the boat, sink or float. I'm sailing with the boat. Through hurricane and storm, hell or high water come, and when she needs a push, I'm going to push like bush. If Trinidad is a boat, I go sail on it, sink or float.
Yes, indeed, of course, once again, I think I better do it twice. It's so nice. Yes, indeed, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. This is, yes, your Monday night edition of the Corridor Transformation. Your host, of course, Lennox Smth. I thought it was important, of course, to give you those highlights and those insights because what transpired on Saturday was really and truly an appeal to our patriotic sensitivity. Let me repeat. What transpired on Saturday was an exhibition of appealing to our patriotic sensitivity. And I'm saying so from the perspective that the Prime Minister made no bones about it. She was very realistic and pragmatic. She said that there's more work to be done. She gave a comprehensive report to the population as to what has transpired over the last year of the UNC Coalition of Interest Government. And I want to emphasize that the exercise on Saturday was a 37th anniversary birthday, if you want to call it that, of the UNC. And therefore the focus was on the UNC, but at the same time highlighting certain national issues which would have been remiss. It would have been remiss of the government if they didn't report having regard to the fact that they came into office, well, they won the election on the 28th of April last year. So the 28th is tomorrow, which will be the actual anniversary, but remember they took office, I think, around the 1st of May, and therefore one can give and take, of course, a day or two in order to ensure the celebrations start now. But as she indicated, which I took away very poignantly and took notice of, is that she said in no uncertain terms that the UNC was in the doldrums, that the faithful, including herself, were dragged through the mud by the PNM. Let's not waste time. And she made special appeal and reference to those who stuck it out. You see, because loyalty is a very critical thing. But I am not talking about the loyalty that no matter what the leader do, you must accept. However, I would take note that where there is disagreement, the party or the organization must be able to provide mechanisms, structures, where people's grievances, if they are at variance with the leadership, for example, so that they can express it without being victimized, without being ostracized, without being seen as a Nirakaman. Is that a Nirakaman? Is that the word? No. I'll get it a little later. I'm sure that some of you would know what the exact pronunciation is. Nirakaman? Whatever it is. But the fact is that we have a duty and responsibility where there is not so what I consider to be moral and ethical and standards that are required of the leadership, that we are able to express that, but within the confines of a structure. And if there is no structure, then people have to go public, obviously. All right? Nimakaram, yes, Nimakaram is the word. Nimakaram. You see, so we have to be very careful, but that does not take away what the Prime Minister would have delivered on Saturday. Not only did she speak about the pain, the ache, the agony, the stress and the strain, and the subjecting to humiliation and disgrace by the PNM, and the PNM, of course, they themselves have a lot to account for moving forward. But that ought not to be the alpha and omega. That is just par for the course. Because if you have done iniquities against the people whilst in government, abusing the treasury and your offices, then you ought to pay the price. And so that is yet to be addressed. But of course, the theme would have been better days are coming. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that. The Middle East conflict, prior to that, the Venezuelan reconciliation, if you want to call it that, where the Americans can feel comfortable now, and that, of course, those OFAC licenses can now be issued without any reservation. Not like the stupid move by the PNM, not realizing that the circumstances have changed and therefore they had to adapt and adjust because the hegemony that the United States wield, not just in this hemisphere, notwithstanding, of course, the Monroe Doctrine, but across the globe, as we are seeing now unfolding in the Middle East. You have to be a backside and a half not to realize that your geopolitical and your diplomatic premise, your diplomatic agenda must always be first in the interest of Trinidad and Tobago, and secondly, to make certain that you are on the right side when the bell is tolled. Well, if the PNM was in government, let me tell you one time, the government and the people of Trinidad and Tobago would have been seen to be on the wrong side. Let me repeat, lest you don't understand or you misunderstand. If the PNM under Rowley and George Young were in office, and what unfolded in recent times, three months ago, where Maduro was, of course, captured and taken back to the United States to stand trial, and that the new government had to, of course, conform to the wishes of the Americans, having regard, of course, to prior to that, the amount of sanctions and the amount of bounty that was being placed or was placed on leaders in the Venezuelan administration, categorized as a narcotic state, a narcotic government. If the PNM was in government today, Trinidad and Tobago would have eaten the bread that the devil need, because no way the Americans would have looked kindly to Trinidad and Tobago. No way. Because they are calling the shots, and you have to be, as I said, a backside and a half not to understand that, as Rowley appeared to be hard-headed and dunder-headed and so stupid that they let their personal position and their personal ideology influence the policy and the interests of Trinidad and Tobago during that period that led up to the Americans taking action, and as a result, Maduro is now, of course, in the United States facing trial, and the new the acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, now have to conform to the wishes of the Americans. That is a pellucid fact. If that didn't happen, no way Trinidad and Tobago could have been in the position that it is in today, where because of the understanding and the very, what I consider to be eruditic and a very diplomatic approach by the new government under Kamala Persad Bissessa, we are now poised to reap the whirlwind of benefits. Something that the last government was striving for and previous governments were striving for in different, what I consider to be iterations or metamorphosis of the geopolitical Western hemispheric activities that would have taken place in the recent past. What I mean by that is very simple. I'm saying that under Manning, the gas deal with the Venezuelans were being sought. Then Kamala Persad Bissessa came in 2010 to 2015, the same process. But by the time Rowley and they took over, there was sanction against Venezuela. Prior to that, there were no sanctions. So therefore, Manning could have pursued under normal government-to-government or good neighborly relations in order to get the gas that is so needed, so sorely needed for the upward mobility of the economy of Trinidad and Tobago, having evolved into a gas-based economy. We being, of course, a very old oil province, and oil would have been running out, and less being discovered. But of course, that's an argument that we will deal with later down the road. But the fact of the matter is that the last administration put Trinidad and Tobago in absolute jeopardy absolute jeopardy by hitching its wagon, albeit utilizing the camouflage of CARICOM and the camouflage of going to the United Nations and making flowery speeches that at the end of the day would not have benefited Trinidad and Tobago and would have angered the Americans. Let's not waste time with that. They could say what they want. These days I'm hearing the political leader of the PNM, Penlu Beckers, poor soul, has lost it all entirely. Saying that when Kamala Prasad Bisesa came into office, she was saying that the Dragon deal dead. Now that she is there and looking to get it to Venezuela now to, of course, secure the Dragon deal. Well, obviously, you had to be a backside and a half once again if you didn't understand that circumstances have changed in a meteoric way, in a dynamic way, but in favor of Trinidad and Tobago in this case. They had 10 long years. But what they did, they angered the Americans. Let us not waste time with that. And don't tell me about sovereignty and integrity and independence. Hogwash. Hogwash. The great Iran, let them talk that now. Let them talk that now against the might of the Americans. And we are mere speck and what I consider to be spectators to geopolitical, hemispheric, and international, what I consider to be draft, as we would call it here, or in some other quarters, they may want to call it chess. That's a fact. So Rowley and the current opposition leader, as if that is some credit, or that has, of course, reduced the credibility of Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC. You have to be a backside and a half to think that that is in fact so when Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the present government played all the right cards. Once again, if the PNM and either one can say divine intervention and one can say the people's pragmatism knew that the toxicity of the PNM would have carried Trinidad and Tobago further down the rabbit hole, into the doldrums, into the abyss of no return. If they were in government and they had stayed in government, because obviously right now the Americans would not have been dealing with them in the way that they are now dealing with the present government. It's obvious. They could have, of course, camouflaged as much as they want and say that they have good relations with the Americans, etc. Remember that? They were saying that. The last man to say that was Stuart Young as Prime Minister. He went up. Mark Rubio, the Secretary of State for the United States, called him inside, I think, the White Hall or the White House, met with him. It's either they or the State Department, one or the other. And he said, well, listen, I'm surprised to see you here. He said that you're talking about your obituary, meaning that your last rites. All that he insult Stuart Young with when he invited him. And Stuart Young came back saying, well, listen, I talked to the man and the OFAC license will not be affected. Just after he said that, they pull back the OFAC license. A license given to countries and companies under a specific department of the United States that is so designated to do what? To give authority to deal with the Venezuelan government. And Rowley and them didn't know that that is what they had, that their course of action was toxic, was stupid, was foolish, was dunderheaded, and that they ought to do what was required at the level of OAS, had to do what was required at the level of CARICOM, had to do what was required at hemispheric groupings. We had Trinidad and Tobago, it's either a member or a signatory. They didn't know that. But today, most as if she's in a state of mental, intellectual, cognitive, cerebral, and common sense decline. The leader of the opposition is saying that Kamala and they were saying that the Dragon deal dead, and look at them today. You have to be a backside and a half not to understand the high and the Trinidad-based interests position taken by Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC coalition of interest government in making certain that we clear all of the impediments to eventually get the gas that will be coming. Why am I taking the time to say all of that? Because, yes, better days are coming. Better days are coming. No doubt, no doubt. Because already the largest oil companies on the globe, Chevron, Exxon, are already here in Trinidad. Exxon, as you know, is the company that is extracting oil from Guyana. The latest, of course, greatest deposit. And notice as well, Venezuela ain't talking about Essequibo again. But stupid Rowley went into St. Vincent and playing that he neutral. And he went there, of course, clearly, at minimum, with divided loyalty, to show sympathy for Maduro and Venezuela, while claiming that somehow he is a neutral bystander. And we see all of that has turned out to be naught, including the host who bit the political dust. Are talking about Ralph Gonzalez because he lost the election. He is the lone member of his party in the Parliament of St. Vincent today. And then, of course, we learned during the course of that election that he had a property that was being rented to the Venezuelans, and therefore he could not have been a neutral party. He couldn't be an honest broker to that process that he superintended and supervised and act as a referee at Argyle in St. Vincent, when, of course, both parties would have met. And that did not stop, as you know, the Venezuelans from mobilizing military assets in an effort to take over the Essequibo, including, of course, adding the Essequibo to their own geographic map. All of that transpired. All of that transpired. So let us not waste time, but let's go to the line and test the line one time and see. Let me make certain that everything is in order here. All right, so we have this just now. All right, I have that. Just a minute, caller. Stay right there. Stay right there. I want to make sure that we're in order. All right, and this here. All right, a pleasant good night. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Right, good. Yes, man. So we are fresh today, and of course we had a lot of what I consider to be information on Saturday. And as we move forward with a high degree of optimism, better days are coming. But go ahead, caller.
A pleasant good night to each and every one. And all in sundry, east, west, north, and south, a pleasant good night. Share the life, share the life. And share the love to each and every one. By sharing love to each and other, they can bring back true patriots and share in the development of human capital. You know what I said there, Uncle Lennox?
Yes, man.
You're
talking big, man. You're talking like an economist.
Wait a minute, like economist?
No, economist. Economist.
Oh, sorry,
economist.
sir.
No.
Oh, sorry, sir.
No.
Right. I was sure that chicken was hospital at the same time.
I will never attempt to use semantics to downplay the significance of the statement that you would have made. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I just want to claim your indulgence on that because I don't want to talk only alone. I want to share this tonight with the listeners and let them know why. When the UNC win, everybody win. And the propaganda we taxing, lying, piping, thieving government after $1 trillion was thieved out of the treasury of this country, right? And the people who support them, which the party claim and the leaders claim that the black diaspora is that we must stick together politically, and we is the kusubusus. And it's only when they break ranks with us, politically, the cemetery is waiting for you. But, Uncle Lennox, in this 1 year, in the first 5 years of PNM, what we get? Let me compare. I can't even think about it. Let me compare the last second year, the last year before election. We get that we don't have to get the poor is another seesaw, that the poor, you have to get the poor to come up, you get the rich more, so it will get away to bring up the poor. But my political leader and esteemed Prime Minister, as the leader of the party, say that we will bring the poor up by giving the children computers in school, laptop, a breakfast, and a lunch. Then we will give them free transportation to and from school, efficiency. Then we will do a psychological testing on them. We don't say who dead, who live. She say that too much of the citizens are dying in this country by gun, and too much of home invasion. And they are doing the people wickedness and killing them cold-heartedly. She passed laws called Stand Your Ground. The PNM said that you're going to give guns so that the African diaspora will be eliminated. Up to now we're hearing penny calling now. Where the guns that the UNC promised earlier? All you get the gun? They thought you would take out by the container and rest on every street corner and take our gun to Stand Your Ground. Then let me hear now. Marvin Gonzalez, you know how he fixed water problem? He locked up all the water in all the areas. It had no leak. That was his strategy. It didn't have no leak. And pipe again under Marvin Gonzalez before the election. But people suffering months and months without water. And when the water do come in the area, it leaking through the pipe. And he is a fella, he leader say that why he take Marvin Gonzalez and put him in Wassa, because he didn't know a leaking pipe will break pressure. But my esteemed political leader put a young man in Wassa that he say you need to put water tank farm in areas that the booster station is not reaching, and people see trouble to get water, that the water truck will get the water supply at this point and distribute it in a timely fashion. Then the PNM in the last 5 years, the Alsing, say that medicine and CDAP is not a privilege. But you know what my esteemed political leader do for this last 5 years? She 1 year? She gave back the children's hospital to the children. Then she gave the sick and needy children the opportunity to get life-saving surgery. Not like Faris and them. They cut it and sue the parents and say, oh, that's pay money. Eh? That under the UNC, you can't see that happening. Because my esteemed political leader said the children is my love and my heart. They are the future of this country. The PNM say the treasury, when it's full, is the future of the PNM. Who live. And there's hyenas in the jungle. Choose their man wisely. She said no. That she create jobs, permanent jobs, sustainable jobs. But then again, under Keith Rowley and Noel Garcia, they were building buildings, but yet still, you see the spin-off. A man built 100 house, 50, take away 50 to mash up. And what was he on some pay? But when my party used the public participation to build houses, to give the people, they say corruption. That is why today, 11 matters bring the traitor on the court. Because you know why? I will ask India what procurement method was used in your, as finance minister, to do your project, to give Marvin and Foster Cummins wife.
Are you saying that there was a court matter with those 11 selected companies? Or is it something else?
No, and the trigger, the investigation to the OPR.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah. Oh, I thought that a decision was made. All right, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, today I understand that, remember, you can protest, you can sign an objection that to find out how it was given out, right?
Uh-huh.
And on the 11 counts of action and points, what I understand that the office, the procurement office rule on 11 what was filed,
right?
That is not void.
Okay,
right?
Okay. I didn't.
And they get a reason.
That's good news.
I start to be corrected.
All right.
I start to be corrected.
I'll check it out during the course of tonight's program. All right. And I'm sure somebody might be able to get that information for us. Go ahead.
Because that is my understanding. Yeah, okay. Because remember in the OPR, you can lodge a objection and have
there's provision for that. There's provision for that, but it has to have validity. It has to have, of course, serious breaches that with the evidence. And if you don't have the evidence, then it's not and void. So, all right, thanks.
Yeah,
I just thought it was in fact so. All right, go ahead. I'll check it out.
Yeah. So, when the Ministry of Health under the Alsing use a contractor to build a $450 million, almost $500 million building with private participation, public, a pipeline bus. Nobody know who is in charge to fix it, but we pay for that building. But you see, in my government and the party UNC, where everybody win, the workers, where they find in companies and industry, after 10 and 15 years, it was long asked by the PNM to put this bill so that you could get your severance pay. You know, it passed in the Senate. Then they come and workers don't have to go on their knees like asphalt and beg it up. They say all they will get all the increase. The back pay will pay in bonds. You see, my prime minister didn't say that they all will get all the money and all will go home, you know. She employing. Then you get a private business to build a $220 million investment in a hotel down in South. So which means the spreading outwards of the capital city, the seeing the potential of the economy, that will boost um,
Economic activities, yes. Boost economic
yeah,
activities, yes. Yeah.
right? In and spread it out. What the PNM was doing, you hear about after $1 trillion in borrowing, spending, and you see all over her debt. If you look good, you might see in the office in Balize house her debt around too, because these people are in 10 years, what they could talk about the supporters of the PNM, but you know, Rowley banned the about for the last 10 years before he give up the leadership and the prime ministership. Box trade, box trade, box trade, box trade. Everybody get box trade. There we hear now, 1 year after, how much are the African diaspora, the PNM supporters, could say that they get a box trade to build? Okay, Lennox. In our next call, but if you get that call,
Okay, thanks, Ivan. It was so interesting, of course, that I wanted you to express a little more, because much of that, what you have said, would have gone past above people who have a tendency to, of course, have what I consider to be a myopia or turn on their blinders. But go ahead. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
This is Diego Martin inside.
Yes, Diego Martin, go ahead.
The man went to where? Panama and then to Venezuela.
So they know yet. They sure yet. The PNM say all they know that the man was going abroad. They didn't say where he was going. They don't know where he was going. So go ahead.
Well, if he was going to Panama, he's following in the footsteps of a fella by the name of John O'Halloran. You remember John O'Halloran?
Yeah, John O'Halloran and the other one, Privat. Yes, Privat is the man who died, in fact, in Panama. Go ahead, yes.
Right. No, Panama don't have no extradition treaty with
Trinidad and Tobago. That's right, yes.
Right, but John O'Halloran, he became a citizen of Panama, and then he went to Toronto in 1985 and he died.
Okay.
Our country got back equivalent to 7.6 million and 7.5 million from Tesoro and from his estate.
Yes.
The value of that today, 100 million. In 1991, it was about 64 million. So that was a substantial amount. No. I want to talk about, I ain't hear too much people talking about the article and the Express over the weekend. The UNC will win again. No. The author of that piece basically had interviews with two professors of the University of
I saw it, yeah.
Right? That was Ghani and Basdale. And the message, the both of them was saying, if you call now, it looks like peace for the PNM. But more importantly, they said that the national media is biased towards UNC. The way they carry in the notes, the news. And the third thing they said is basically Hamid Ghani gave the UNC a grade and Basdale gave the UNC a B+. So that tells you that these people, based on what they see, with this first year of KPB 2.0, things is happening positive.
Yes.
Now, let us look at the messenger. I already tell you the message. And the messenger, one of them, Hamid Ghani, Professor Emeritus, was the son of a PNM minister.
Yes.
a parliamentarian in Naparima. He was East Indian descent. And as Rohan Sinaran said, honest Indians in the PNM, right?
Yeah.
The old say, fall far from the tree, and father like son.
I hear
So
you,
if that
I
man
hear
was an
you.
honest Indian, if that man was an honest Indian, then everything that his son has said, you understand, we have to agree with it.
Yes,
so
yes,
I
yes.
have no problem with that. I don't know why the PNM jumping up and giving 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 is from a clueless, penniless person.
Well, of course. Well, we know where that came from. That came from a deep sense of incompetence and looking to be politically relevant.
The PNM is a hydra now. Plenty heads.
Plenty head, yes.
And no
yes,
direction.
Yeah,
You understand the fact that Small Pen could go to the country and he just said, "Are you going overseas?" He wasn't sensible to know that the APIS, Advanced Passenger Travel, to leave and come back, we don't know. I mean, they say you might get away with it, they'll see. But not this time. You understand? And let me tell you, it's serious with him, you know. He has to answer question. You remember the indemnity issue?
Yes.
When Alwari, I think, did a police station, and he said the whole cabinet approves for what he did.
Yes.
All right? And then,
and then of course, the cabinet stridently with Rowley at the helm denies it, and then of course demoted him in the process.
Right, and Small Pen met the main witness on an airplane. They perverted the cause and tampering with the witness.
That's right.
So I don't know if he went to Panama to apply for citizenship, because you know when they have to answer question. Remember a fellow by the name of Garcia went to live in Uganda or Ghana until the PNM win and he come back?
That's Garcia.
Right. You remember who Hart ran away and you couldn't find him? Even Dupre went and hide when they had to answer question. All of these people, they did so much thing nefarious to the progress of this country. We're waiting for the blue lights and the silver bracelet to look for them.
Yes, man.
All right, I go on later.
Yes, man.
And before I go, I realized, this procurement 3.6 billion AGC thing. This man, Emil Elias, he made some connection with the procurement tribunal and tell them investigating. The 12 position he took, they run him out too?
wait. Remark something. The procurement investigation on the 11 contractors that has been determined,
Well, this one is based on Emil Elias took them to the procurement tribunal, saying, look, he didn't get a piece of the pie and they discriminating against him.
Oh, I see.
But they run him because
I see.
he said based on the requirements, he didn't fit it. It's something he did. Some stupidness that.
Because I have to deal with that. Maybe deal with it tomorrow. That bolt arrangement that the
last
government.
that is what.
Then
he defamed Munilal, and Munilal beat him in court today.
All right, good. I'll get that information.
All right,
yes,
go on.
Yes,
Enjoy
indeed.
evening.
All right, my friend. Well, of course, people, I think the time has come where we need, of course, to hear some of the offerings of the Honorable Prime Minister at that exercise on Saturday. I think the time has come for that. So let's go straight and take in the Prime Minister and that at that function. I think it's important.
Put your hands together for the members of your government, our government, everyone on stage, please. Let us thank them. Thank you. So members of the National Executive of our great UNC party, cabinet colleagues, parliamentarians, senators, councillors, aldermen, constituency executives, party officers, activists from every corner of our land, all distinguished guests, members of the media, and to you I say, to the beating heart of this great party, the UNC, the men, the women, the young people, all of you. I talk about the elders, the mothers, the workers, the fathers, daughters, and faithful supporters of our great UNC. My beloved brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, I say good evening to all of you. And we could not be here because of anything. We're here because of the goodness of God. Because of the goodness of God. I thank you all. And 37 years ago, we celebrate now 37 years of our great party. In the mud and in the rain in Aranguez, 37 years ago we celebrate now. Here, not in the mud, but still.
Of course, I know that you weren't to hear what she has said, but you can call in the meantime. I have no difficulty in, of course, interrupting, pausing to accommodate you. But let's hear what she had to say because it's very interesting indeed.
There were about 17,000 persons here. That was 1 hour ago. By now, I'm told it's about 20,000 persons present here, and you're one of them. And of course, the traffic is still backed up. So, what can I say to you? I have to thank you very much, but this evening, as I look upon you, I feel something far deeper than political pride. You know what I feel? I feel love. I feel your love. Thank you for your love. I feel gratitude. Because when I look at you, I see the people who stood with our great UNC party and me over all the long, bleak years. I see you. I see people who held faith when faith was tested. I see people who for years, decades, you endured insult. You endured exclusion. You endured hardship. You endured propaganda and betrayal and disappointment. And yet what? You never, ever surrendered. You never, ever gave up your love for our party and for our nation. So I say to you today, plainly, fully, with all of my heart, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, and thank God for you, the people of our great party. Thank you for your loyalty through the storms. Thank you for your prayers in the hard times. Thank you for your faith when many doubted. It's like that, Kamala, and within nothing. Today you're here in testimony that you gave us your vote, you gave us the victory, and I thank you. Thank you and thank God.
Yes, indeed. Of course, let's pause for.
Thank you for your faith when
pause
some doubted.
Just a minute.
Thank you for your courage when our party was being attacked.
Let me just pause and then, of course, engage. All right. We have lost that call, so let's continue.
Thank you for carrying on our party for 37 years.
All right. Like we paid hide and seek one. All right. Let's go straight to that call. President, good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Hello, good night, Mr. Lennox.
Good night to you, my friend.
I seen your partner, your co-host, he ain't coming yet?
No, we have an arrangement that we're working out, and we will treat it. But he has not made his contribution as yet. But we are talking. Yeah.
I see it on the video was running there.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was seeing all that mud.
You see, sing for the boat, on the boat.
Yeah.
Well, it has some pictures on that boat, the Honorable Prime Minister to look into it.
All right.
Who sitting right in the cabinet? Because them are back and intention and not really going by them after them like the staff of them like they're trying to victimizing the Honorable Prime Minister making the party look bad cause I was down there cried out and meeting me. I said, not me not a minister. They go and deal with the minister and them there.
Yeah, and
you want trying to get the country on a difficult time and too.
Yeah, and there's a need for training too. These people, they seem to it seems as though split loyalty. Let me put it that way. Whether you should, whether somehow, even though you're seeing the horizon, you're seeing things are going to be looking up, you're seeing things that are currently not so nice, and therefore you have to try and try and try. But there's some people who would just abandon and say, listen, not me, check so and so and so and so, without, of course, taking on the responsibility. But if things was nice, you see they're singing a different tune. Not so?
Well,
go ahead.
Correct. But Lennox,
yeah.
I see Aki order down there. You in the camp, you come in the camp or what?
Who's that?
Aki order, a old PNM.
Yeah.
Was running for mine.
Anderson said that, yes, this morning. He said that, and I was surprised. So, I said, well, he fought, but the Prime Minister said that she looking at them with cocky eye. You go hear it in her speech.
I go and tell them that them that's come before want to eat our food, look to come under my party and bust out and go and snake it all be a snake, Lennox. We can't really trust them, and plus two certain ministers are wrong. The goodly Prime Minister, they accepting them with open hands, giving them opportunities, and they're forgetting the lawyers, soldiers, the real soldiers was in the trenches fighting.
Well, I could only go with what the Prime Minister has said. She has said very, very clear that she knows those who suffered over the last 10 years and were victimized as far as UNC is concerned. She also knows of those who have left and then suddenly waltzed back in. And she in her presence, so she seems as though she is seeing the individuals, and in her presence she has seen them. But whilst she's a nice person, she will not forget. I mean, that speaks volumes.
Look,
that speaks volumes.
Lennox, I see the Honorable Kudi Shaman down there.
Yeah.
I see him go after Madam MP. The first thing she go say, I give her trouble. I say, for the last 9 years plus when I was out there fighting and telling you, didn't know I was trouble all the time? I think in the all the lunches thing under your ministry, this, that thing, and I sign up. Because a woman come at me last week,
you got anything?
Tuesday.
You got
Tuesday, the woman come at me Tuesday. My wife will end up down by Julian John, the woman come and drop home. My wife here home, the thing in there. You know, Sunday night, she texts Michael and tell me she get you. Yeah.
Are you saying that none of you got through?
But me get through, I was saying that nothing mean like I suffer in silence, like I get victimized for a party where I fight and tell it and nobody try to reach out to me and give me the time or two, let's try to see about it.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'll talk to
you
tomorrow. Yeah, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, bless.
All right, yeah, man. All right, so let's get back, of course, to Kamala Prasad Bisesa and that great speech. I think it was an exercise in patriotism, whilst at the same time loyalty, whilst at the same time recognizing that those who would have labored in the vineyard must also be rewarded from the fruits and therefore the product of the victory that was acquired and given by the people last April. I will say last April, meaning last year, April, the 28th of the year 2025.
Years you've kept our great party strong. And I want to say further, thank you as you carried our great party. Thank you for carrying me too, as your MP in Superior for 30 years, and as a leader of this great party for 16 years. I say thank you and thank you. And whilst I see those of you who stood with us over all those long, bleak years, I see some people here who were around me when we were in the last government, and I haven't seen some of them for many years when I see some of them here today. And I want you to know I see you. And whilst I may forgive you, because that is how I am, I will never ever forget your absence during our 10 long, hard years in opposition.
That's a serious statement, you know, people. An extremely serious statement. Because you see, I remembered very distinctly between 2010 and 2015 when we were clamoring and saying on the ground report and elsewhere, Madam, you cannot leave the PNM political appointees in URP and CPEP and so on. You cannot do that for no lengthy time. And the then Prime Minister, the then Kamala Prasad Bisesa, was telling us, well, you know, we want to be as open-handed and open-minded as possible, and we should not appear to be victimizing anybody. And we were saying that that is how the system is. And I was saying so from the perspective that if you look at the Mecca, whether it would be the United Kingdom or the United States, when a new administration comes into office, they bring in their people. That is called political patronage, but it is functional from the perspective that one expects that your people, your loyalists, will execute your agenda and your program better than anybody else. Anybody else, is obvious. But of course, the policies will redound to the general benefit of the community. But if you are like the PNM, where political patronage is at the expense of everybody else, then of course you would be traveling on a track of total disaster, nepotism, cronyism, and as we have seen under the PNM, a plethora of mediocrity in high places and high offices. People who simply are misfits, square peg in round hole. And as a result, those institutions collapse. They become dysfunctional. So there's a limit to political patronage. And political patronage here means specifically where there are political offices, where people have to carry out the agenda or the manifesto of the government of the day, then they should be given the opportunity early in the game to, of course, execute. Because at the end of 5 years, the government will be held to account to the electorate as to what transpired and whether they lived up to their mandate or whether they should get another term, in other words. Very, very simple. So this time around, I'm very heartened that the Prime Minister has seen those who have abandoned at one point in time and back on board. And while, of course, she would have welcomed, she is saying that, listen, I will not forget. But there are those who remain constant like the Northern Star. As my friend just now said, there are those who remain immutable, like I said, can't change. And they pledged, and they committed, and they plugged away, and they sacrificed, and they did what was required in order to get into government now. They are the ones who must be considered extremely favorably. Let me repeat, extremely favorably. And I know of some that feel that they are in that position right now and are not being favored. But I still say there is time, because the government, the UNC, and the new Kamala Prasad Bisesa haven't learned from the past mistakes. Everything ain't going to happen in one fell sweep, but certainly the direction and the utterances, the narrative is in the right place. Let's continue. That was important to intervene there.
Because you know who truly loves us in our party when you have nothing to give. So between 2015 and 2025, I watched how my supporters, our supporters, they were excluded. They were abused. They were kicked by some on the other side. I saw it, and I felt your pain because it was my pain. And I want you to know, I want those persons who were oppressed, my UNC faithful to understand. Today, I am a different human being. This is not Kamala 2015. This is Kamala 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and beyond. I really think, I really think some people do not understand how different I am now. I'm not going to advantage anyone, but I will square up the account because the bad treatment of good people cannot go unanswered. The bad treatment that you got over those years, we will answer them. I have nothing to lose. Why? Because we lost everything before. What? Resilience and rebuild. Thank you, Lord. Thank all of you. So those who want peace, I tell you today, those who want peace will get peace. And those who want war will get total political war. Total political war. All troops on standby for the political battles we have to face. This evening now.
You see my point, and I thought again I would pause here. Because the belligerence and the bellicose language, the warlike language, the fierce language that is now emanating from the mouth of the Honorable Prime Minister and political leader of the UNC and head of this UNC coalition of interests is warming to the heart of those who understands how the PNM operates. For all of 10 years, it was Kamala, 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 and any other minions. In fact, so much so that Rowley said that he wants to see embracers and silver bracelets, operatives and associates of Kamala Prasad Bisesa. All you know that? Somebody told me today people don't want to hear about the PNM. That in itself is a PNM tactic. Understand that. They want you to deflect attention away from them and to focus on Kamala Prasad Bisesa, especially where there may be some issues that needs to be clarified. I wouldn't say mistakes. Issues that need to be clarified. You have to have the lyrics, you have to have the vocabulary to, of course, address these matters. And you say the right thing. Because Gonzalez and Penny and Stuart Young, they have not shied away from generated blatant and unadulterated lies. Lies are similar to that of Rowley and the emails and the whole question of the Galicia and the fake oil and Camille Robinson's money that moved from one bank to the next bank but remained in the same bank. Darrell Smith. We have seen it all. And of course, the creme de la creme, the Police Service Commission and its intervention to try to stop a fellow from getting the office of, or to be considered for the office of Commissioner of Police on a second occasion. We have seen, of course, Vincent Nelson, and we have seen, of course, the kidnapping of a citizen of this country, Brent Thomas from Barbados. Those are dirty-handed moves. And we have heard, of course, Kamala Prasad Bisesa in particular subjected to the most misogynic statements that any politician, that anybody in fact could pull out of their vocabulary or or their lexicon, whether it's Jamet, whether it's Zami, or whether it be women golf course, women in general, and young girls in particular, at their hyenas, like hyenas in the African jungle. I can't tell you what man to take. And you're supposed to choose the man. And it's your fault, victim bashing. Why you're getting licks when women asked of the Prime Minister then, Rowley, up at Maloney, to, of course, make an intervention with respect to men flagellating or beating women. Yeah. All of that took place, and we so stupid, I so stupid, not to regurgitate, not to resurrect those things. No. Anytime anybody tell you, do not focus on the PNM, focus on what is being delivered by the UNC, is perpetrating a PNM agenda. That is a PNM narrative. You need to tell them as it is. Anytime they say quack, you say quack, quack. That is what you should be doing. Quick pro quo. Quick pro quo. They cannot talk about where the money is or where the money gone. And they meet a treasury of over $12 billion. And by the time the 28th of April came last year, it was reduced to $4 billion. We should be asking them where the blasted money gone. Rowley, Stuart Young, Penny, you cannot absolve yourself on your own volition. That by itself shows a self-serving, not just myopic, but egotistic and megalomaniac propensity. Better tell me about. I mean, don't call them. You hear what Kamala just said? You want political war because you are accusing the present government of where the money gone when you know that it was you who have been profligate. It was you who have misspent. It was you who have disturbed the treasury to the point where pilfering became the order of the day. And I say so from the perspective that is the only cabinet, the only government in the history of this country and probably the world where so many people ask for recusing themselves because of conflict of interest. They're telling me about. Feel like stupid out. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
A pleasant good night to you, Professor Lennox Smith.
Yes, man.
And everybody who listening on the live tonight, a pleasant good night to you all.
Yes, man.
Well, Lennox,
hey.
I find it kind of difficult for me to call in on the ground report program. I remember I talked to the last time I was going in the hospital here with PRD security.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel, you got to get somebody to come and investigate this planning because this planning is real nonsense. And right now, some of my friends and them getting sick because the hour that I take you up in the morning to come to work for that hospital here when they reach it again.
Well, I have to make a trip down there, not because of Bowdy, but I have some people coming down for Bowdy as well. So I'll try to link them with you, and maybe you can give them insight as to what the issues are in terms of the details, because we need to get the details so that we can make the appropriate response.
I could get in contact with him and he could probably give a little more, because he's working with the company.
All right, but let him call me. Let him call me.
All right, I will let him do that. And,
yeah,
right, that's one. And right. Two, before I go, is the FBI, the CIA, MI6, and all these international agencies. I want to know if all of them have eyes on Stuart Young. Because that thing, that photo up, I see posing there with Delcy Rodriguez there in Venezuela. What Stuart Young really trying to do? Is he trying to undermine the people of Trinidad and Tobago or the PNM?
Well, Short Young, in my view, based on that picture, I'll continue to demonstrate because I've never been impressed with this fella, right? I think he is a neophyte. He's still a neophyte, a political neophyte, and has been given a golden handshake, if you want to call that, or golden chalice, unmeritoriously. He even get senior counsel, and when he was asked how you get that, most senior counsels will say, well, when I was in private practice, he said because he did something for the government. So it shows how lame duck he is. And what he did there was an attempt to probably show up because he was saying here that the government must go directly. So he somehow pretending that he is still in government and gone there. And I mean, if you went on a private thing because you know the woman, fine, but you can't be so public to generate the kind of commentary that is happening. Go ahead, yeah.
I was not when I mentioned that last few words you just mentioned. You go there because you know the woman, they go on a little vacation and she talk thing, and I say they do a thing and they come back home.
Yeah.
But when they pour up that picture there, for the whole world to see
you send a message that somehow you feel, and he's so stupid. The man is such a political neophyte, I would say, in perpetuity, because he will never learn if he ain't learned yet. What he has done there is again attract the wrath of the Americans against the PNM as an organization and a party that once was in government. That's what he has done, you know. But I'll tell you what, he's so stupid. He's telling himself that in Trinidad now, Trinidadians are foolish, so they go see he as somehow negotiated for and on behalf of the government, when in fact that is impossible. I mean, the man is just a nincompoop. Go ahead.
Yeah, because when people start to piece this thing together, they say, well, wait now. If Stuart Young go and meet with this woman, who next? North Korea president, you're going to shake hands with Putin, you're going to shake hands with China. But now,
the man is a political fraud, and Rowley foists that, what I consider to be obtuse individual on the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and he has not yet realized that he's a political dunce, and he's politically dead.
Somebody, somewhere, sending a SOS to let people know that the PNM dead.
That's what happened there. I'm sure, because I have not heard Penlew Beckles' comments on it. In fact, when the media tried to get both of them, they declined. They said that they were not available. They couldn't find them. But I am sure that she's trying to avoid that, and I'm sure that she's giving him some choice words privately. I'm sure, because that is total nonsense. Because remember, when they were in government, and the opposition wrote to the Attorney General in Australia about those boats that they were inquiring or they were acquiring. You see how Rowley got on when the sitting president called his early minister of national security, Komona, just to say, well, you know, I was a prosecutor, that is a state prosecutor, talking about Komona, and I just want to share some of my ideas or thoughts. Rowley was up in arms and say, well, will you meet with my minister for you ought not to, and he's a what? He's a president under siege. All that talk, that man talk. Now look what he gonna do. But these fellas and them, I don't know, boy. That's, to me, I will extend that to treason, because that's stupid.
That is a treason.
Yeah.
So watch out. That man need to be in a dungeon.
Local standard. Nobody send you anywhere. How the hell you could do a thing like that and make it public? If you go privately, fine. Nothing wrong with that. Rowley could go and meet Gonzales.
Exactly.
Rowley could go and meet anybody. It doesn't matter. But you don't make it public, especially when gas and the transnational or the transborder gas issue is in a delicate stage, is now regaining form, and here it is you going to do that, you had to be a backside and a half.
But Lennox, before I go, I want to say this.
Yeah.
Based on what this IC Stuart Young did there, there's only one conclusion come to my mind. When Stuart Young probably was 2-3 years, he father accidentally dropped him on his head. That's the only thing I can think about it. Locked on and listening.
I hear you, my friend. I hear you. Well, I want to tell you that your thought pattern and the direction you're going, I think most people will agree, if not all. It is unanimous. Because that's a stupid move, and it does not bring any credit to the PNM nor him. What do you do that for? When, in fact, you know that there's several instances when the PNM was in government and it wasn't as blatant as that. But it was seeking the public's interest when the UNC in opposition wrote to various quarters in order to find out what is happening with a particular deal. Because remember, the PNM had not just the most record for recusals at the level of the cabinet, but have the track record for the most secrecy agreements, even to buy COVID vaccines. It was non-disclosure clauses after non-disclosure clause after non-disclosure clause. It's spending our money, and they were comfortable with that. And now that you're in government, you go and do that kind of nonsense. That is political Nephitism, as far as I'm concerned. Let's go to the line. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
A pleasant good night to you, Uncle Lennox, and all your listeners.
Yes, man.
But there is joke, Uncle Lennox. There is joke.
Good.
I like to provoke that man enough, because you know why? $19 to Europe and $19 on the open market. $36 billion in tax. They don't know where it came from. It just appear on the books to collect revenue through taxation. So you see where the money was? Where they was thief in it? So I asked him the question, I'm a citizen, I'm a taxpayer. He in public life. I wonder if that was a gift where he get the police, where he get the gift to get the police, the high power rifle. And I wonder if he going to visit the daughter, or if they, when the daughter he going to flick a deal for the daughter to get high grades in the exam. I just asked that question, right? But then you're talking about the separation of powers. Who went to Proman? Who went to Shell, Royal Dutch Shell in Amsterdam? And up to this day, I want Dr. Munilal to make it public. The deal that what Shell signed under the Keith Rowley government and Proman, and when what he benefit from it. They're talking about 500,000 US reach a Rowley in America. The man shocked that $500,000 US on a check come to he, and he didn't work for it. Then you hear that Dave Kissing signing paper and Formula 1 in Guyana. That's why he run down for Granger. The separation of power. We see how there's cover up corruption and do corruption. But Penny, we know you is not the leader. Penny don't have no say. Penny is just a front. That's the name of the business. Leader. She's not a leader. And it showed the weakness of she and Marvin Gonzalez. I want you to talk about the propagandists, about what Stuart Young, right? He had the authority, but my esteemed political leader, they don't have the authority, because here what's going on. We want to know what is the true deal or the sign with Shell on the Manatee Field. I still asking, and Stuarty, I want to know how it is a company could get all that acreage to produce oil in Heritage, which is formerly Petrotrin, and only playing games at the production down. And I'll tell you something again tonight, Uncle Lennox, right? To remind you, in the oil sector, when negotiation with George Weeks, it started with George Weeks, right? In the OWTU, when they were under Eric Williams, just before Chambers and time, right? When the oil production, that when money did not get the rain after George Chambers, when the oil field was negotiated, they start lifting the production string to say the production dropped. And they're showing it, the chart showing that the production dropping. Where they getting all this oil from? Where they getting it is the same oil well they fabricate, just like the gas. Stuart Young say, right, that they have. And we're going to get in the Henry Hub. You hear it for yourself. $36 billion in taxes collected, under taxes. But they know what from it is the sweetie they sell or the raffle ticket. But you hear it's in the Auditor General report. It's time the people get up and ask these people and them. All they pack up and go one side now, all the thief enough, $1 trillion in debt and still counting. Uncle Lennox, separation of power. Stuart Young and them have to know the true media night. Because I like how you say it. But when we go to India to negotiate, we go on to beg. But when Jindal come, he get free land and free opportunity to open. But anyway, Mark Lucon, we are talking about at the run line. Great is the UNC, and better days are coming.
Yes, indeed. Of course, we will be running out of time, so I just want to conclude this particular video with the presentation of the Honorable Prime Minister. But let me say that those complex matters, the whole question of legal representation for the generation of loans, financial representation for the acquisition of loans, and the whole question of that 500 million US equal to about 3 billion TT dollars, ostensibly taken through UDICOT for the purposes of the development of West Port of Spain. That, of course, Invaders Bay area where Movie Town is, etc. And nothing has been done. 500 million US equal to about 3 billion. And the role of the Office of the President to ensure that that money is not put on the official books of and statement of the government as either income or expenditure, as the case may be. It is called, of course, of budgeting, was not catered for in the budget, according to, as well, the Auditor General. We need to look at that matter critically. The President has already said that she knows nothing about it. Of course, in such circumstance, in that particular 500 million scenario, the President is supposed to be engaged in the sublease, and through the leasing of the buildings or the establishments that would have been as a result of the use of the 500 million, 3 billion TT, payments will be made to the bank in the United States where the money came from, Kansas City. I think the UBS Bank. Yes, we know Stuart Young. We know as well Smth. And of course the man who is supposed to sign off in terms of the government authorization and the formalizing of that agreement or arrangement. The corporation sold then, are talking about Smth, yes, Smth, we know. And whilst the President Skangaloo will not be able to sign on the dotted line, what we know for sure, those assets would have been, of course, they would have gotten the man at the State Lands, the Commissioner of State Lands, to sign off. We know that too. We know that too. So it may or may not be that the President's office was used as a convenient, whether she is conscious, aware or not, but as a convenient vehicle to secure that loan off the books, yet still you and I, the taxpayers, have to pay back the loan. It's a mechanism that the PNM use. We saw it in Tobago in that bolt arrangement at Chauvin, where the agricultural building was used in that way with, of course, people close to the PNM, including, of course, the former mayor's son of Port of Spain. And we saw a similar scheme with respect, of course, to Greenvale and that agricultural land that was sold as residential land without approval from Tongue and Country, and Greenvale was constructed. But the more recent one is that of the vesting of the land courtesy Udicut. And Udicut, of course, was headed by who? Noel Garcia, a total scoundrel. I say so without fear of contradiction, a scoundrel, a corrupt individual. He was at the helm there, and of course, it was not by accident. Udicut was connected directly to the office of the Prime Minister when the PNM was in office, and therefore under Rowley's ambit or control. Understand what is happening? Let's go to the line, and then, of course, I'll make my conclusion. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Good night, Doc.
Good night, my friend.
Yeah. No, earlier when I was listening, hear what has happened sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes when I'm tuning into your program, like I ain't getting it on YouTube at all.
You serious? That is almost impossible.
And then again, sometimes I'm searching for a whole set of programs and I wouldn't see it live.
Corridor
but sometimes again, tonight as I tune it in, I get in.
Well, look for the dates. Look for the date. Look for the current date, because I insist that I have the current date, because that was a problem before, so you don't know if it's yesterday's program. So once you get the date right, was today's date, well, you know you're in the right place. Go ahead.
Right. Okay. Now, I heard you before, you're trying to get the word for ungrateful. Ungrateful is really not Nimakaram, it's Namakaram.
Namakaram, okay, good. Namakaram.
Right. Right.
We in the West, we in the North here, I said Nimakaram, but Namakaram,
No,
all right, no problem. Yes.
Right, but the opposite, no, that is an ungrateful individual, but to a grateful individual, the word is Namakalal.
Oh, Namakalal. All right, very good. I learned something tonight. Namakalal.
Right.
Well, I'll have to say that I'm grateful to you, so Namakalal.
Namakalal. Namakalal.
Yeah, Namakalal. Okay, Namakalal.
Right.
Okay,
right. My next point is this. Karma is good or bad, the effect comes back to you.
Yeah.
Right? Right. These people supported the PNM, and they know they were doing all the wrong things. Now it had no money, and now they claiming they have no work and they're hungry. The seed that was sowed in the last 10 years, this is the fruit that you get, the tree and the fruit you get now.
The poison fruit, the poison tree, yes, the poison seed that bore a
Yeah.
poison, that brought forth a poison tree, that is now,
Yeah.
of course, exhibiting poison fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with you. Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah. So when they complain, why does only laugh? I say, look at that. Hmm?
Yeah.
All you know they were doing the wrong thing. All you're seeing, all you're hearing, all you're knowing. And one day to come, the bucket will run empty.
Yes.
And they never take heed. They were enjoying it at that time. You see what has happened now?
Yeah.
This is what you call karma to its highest.
Karma is, from, I come from the Christian tradition, so let me say that I see that as the groom or the attenders of that wedding where they came with their lamps empty, and by the time they come back having gotten it filled, well, everything was over.
The wedding was finished.
Yeah, the wedding was finished, and therefore they didn't benefit from the feasting and the festing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is my contribution for tonight. Okay, thank you. I'm listening here.
So thank you, Mr. Namakalal. Nimakalal.
Yeah, that dedicated servant.
Nimakaram.
Namakaram.
Yes.
Nimakaram.
Nimakaram.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Of course, I'm sure he'll have opportunities in the future to correct me further if I didn't go as is expected in terms of the pronunciation. But I want to say finally, and what I was saying prior to the intervention of the last caller, and that is that do not be perturbed. Those who find it lengthy, those who find it, while of course it is universal that it is clear, it is unfair what the PNM did in terms of their corruption, nepotism, cronyism, high-handedness, and their deception and their maladministration. Where there is criminal accountability, it will come as certain as night gives way to day and vice versa. It must come. Don't be too, should I say, excited. Don't be too hurried. Don't be too anxious. But it must come. You notice I'm a different kettle of fish all entirely. Remember I told you prior to the elections that it could not have been, it was impossible, that the PNM was on a downward spiral. And of course, statements such as, who the gods wish to destroy, they first send them mad. Remember that? And that to whom much is given, much is expected. And you do not, of course, dig hole for others, particularly when you yourself is undeserving of being freed from the very hole that you are setting for others. I said all of that. And I remember giving a time frame for the PNM to call an early election so that they could get out of office. And while, of course, I was not specific in terms of the dates, or I was not on target in terms of the dates that I gave, what eventually transpired is that they did in fact call election early. I think about nearly 9 months early. So from that perspective, I could salvage something in terms of being right. But there's another thing that I said too would happen, that Balize House, where it reached, will remain there for in perpetuity as its lasting symbol as to never again the PNM, one, and two, that it is a monument for waste, profligacy, corruption, nepotism, blood money used on that building. Well, I want to tell you that too is a reality. And I want to tell you now, let me reiterate, that the criminal and civil action, just wait. Just wait. You may have to wait longer to get that, because they would not have demitted office without, as we saw in one instance where Hines went below the Ministry of National Security to collect, ostensibly according to him, a check. In light or in the face of accusations as to who authorized a CARICOM security aeroplane to go to Barbados and kidnap Brent Thomas. It's not by accident he went there. I am making the nexus or the inference. And so it will take some time, because they would have, of course, either put their mechanisms in place to make sure that they are, so they believe, insulated from the avalanche of prosecution, both civil and criminal. So I'm saying that may take longer than when, of course, the good times would have reached. Better days are coming, and those better days will come, I will not be surprised, before these people are made to face the justice system in this and other parts, in this country and other parts of the world. So that is my prediction. And so you don't have to, of course, enjoin me. You don't have to agree with me. But I have been consistent as far as those matters are concerned. Not so? And let's go back, of course, to Kamala Prasad Bisesa and see if we could conclude before we take our departure. It's already 9:30. We finish at 9:30.
It's about peace and love on this 37th anniversary of our great party. And after 1 year in government, I stand before you all, humbled, deeply moved by your love, by your support, and by your loyalty. As you came from all over the country, I'm sure you saw a yellow wheat tree. Did you see it? Ask Kevin to put it up, but apparently didn't get through to it. But there's a beautiful one in this magazine. I can only speak for a short while because I don't want you to get too bored here this evening. It was a time for celebration. So we have printed all our achievements, some again, in this booklet. And if you can't get a copy because it's expensive to print, but we have this beautiful tree here. Because now it's the season of the yellow wheat. Yes? And if you want to see this, more achievements and the way forward, you can go up on the UNC YouTube and the UNC Facebook and my Facebook. We will have it posted there so you can go through and look at it. So I'm saying, now is the time. When you're driving through TNT now, I'm sure you saw that yellow queen. And so the UNC rank and file membership, like the beautiful yellow tree, is a testament to endurance. So when you drive in and going, if you didn't watch it before, you will see it all over Trinidad and Tobago. And most striking after a dry, difficult season, when the landscape is worn and faded, this tree, these flowers burst into brilliant yellow that is bold, radiant, and you cannot ignore it. So look out for it on your way back. And so too is the UNC. We were born out of struggle at a time when many felt overlooked and unheard. The UNC rose to bring dignity and opportunity to all citizens. We are rooted in purpose. We have weathered many seasons, and we have grown to over 300,000 members and supporters.
Just of course, as I took off myself off the air to get this document as she was showing it there, and I want to tell you it stays, of course, win TNT, of course, brighter days ahead with the UNC. That's the theme of this document. And of course, Couva Children's Hospital and a number of other development. They delivered 42% decrease in murders, stand your ground law, 30% decrease in serious crimes, police deployed in schools, over 30,000 workers received a 10% wage increase. Of course, you have gasoline price reduced, a new chief of defense staff and heads of defense force appointed. $3.2 billion profit in NGC, 18,000 laptops for students, opening of Cuba Children's Hospital, rehabilitation of UWI South Campus, and launch of a blueprint revitalization plan, and more. So that is what is in this document. All right? So that is what is in this document. So let us just continue with two conclusions.
Under the leadership of the late Mr. Pandey and then myself, we remain committed to fairness, equality, and a better future for all citizens. And one day, I say this not out of sadness, but out of reality, one day, just like Mr. Pandey, I will not be here again. A day will come that will be the last day we see each other, and we wouldn't even know that is the last day. That is life, and that is the reality. But always remember that if we, that plant, that tree, that flower in full bloom, we are resilient, we are bold, and we endure. We are the United National Congress. 37 years of purpose, 37 years of progress. Happy anniversary, UNC family. We are UNC. We are UNC, and we are proud. We are UNC, and we are proud. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Well, of course,
so I spent a short time on what we inherited. Because you would know better days are coming, better days have come, unless you know where we've come from. I won't spend too long. I think everyone here knows that's why you're here. That's why you gave us the victory. But we are here today because of you. And I give you my solemn promise, I will never, ever forget that. I will never, ever forget you. Remember that. Never, ever. And whilst we press ahead with a vision to transform our great nation, we must not forget a decade of destruction, abuse, and neglect under the PNM. 10 years, a decade, 10 years of neglect and abuse. And do you remember our message? We had said when we campaigned with you, when the UNC wins, everybody wins. When the UNC wins, Trinbago wins. And you may say to me today, as some are saying, you ain't win yet. But I want to tell you, better days are coming. Brighter days are coming. And so we have to fix 10 years of abuse and neglect. They had 120 months. So far, we have had 12 months. And we've done a lot, which I'll share some with you today. But remember always, never give up hope, because brighter, better days are coming. So whilst we have made some real progress, I will be honest with you. I will be honest with you to say there's still much work to be done. And I promise today is we will get it done together with you and all of the government. We will get it done. There's much work to be done. 12 months only to correct 120 months of neglect and abuse. You took the first step on April 28, 2025, and brighter days have come. Things are better under the UNC, and better days are up ahead. I say, brighter days are ahead. I said this knowing the strain, the uncertainty, and the sacrifice so many have endured, and how long many have waited for opportunity. You have waited for stability. You have waited for fair returns for your effort. So many. These are not empty words. The direction of our country has begun to change. You heard our speakers before. The direction has changed. We have turned a step forward. And we are taking deliberate steps to reverse decline.
Let me just pause there. All right. Pleasant good night. Welcome.
Hello, good night. Better days are coming.
Yes,
Change your ways. Change your ways.
Yes.
Yes, hold on.
Very good messages, yeah.
But you see Short Young and them, the PNM, as them can't get the country to run, they won't have it governable. Short Young got the lowest blow of politics, Short Young every day, you know.
Yeah. The man is still a neophyte, man. He knows that. I always
They're
saw
young,
him as a
because
total book.
when there was in the last regime, the Lennox, he and Rowley was only traveling to Venezuela, trying to, with the jargon and this and that.
Achieve nothing, but he tried to make people believe that because of what the non-achievement is what the present government is benefiting from now. I just don't understand that logic.
You know, but enough, we can look for truth, we can investigate, we really going across it for the pennies across it.
I'm sure at the end of the day, as I said, it's just a matter of time, but I'm sure that the better days will come before they find themselves before the courts, criminal and civil.
Yeah, right now them don't want to see you try and eat and drink in the proper way. No, them feel like because them as the PNM and the same.
That is a dagger for them. If people, all the talk they're talking about, they will do nothing to suffocate Trinidad and Tobago. But here, look what he do. He said that just
look what he do there. That's to show
you nothing government.
That's to show wicked. That's to show wicked. Store Chung and Rolly K-Packs.
Yeah, but I always say, who the gods wish to destroy, the first send them mad. So he go and do that. He said that here in Trinidad, and then go and do that to show us that what we were saying of him as a hypocrite is really that. So we know we are to ignore these people.
True. Well, Lennox, tomorrow go spend life. I'll get a touch.
Give me a call. Yes,
you touch me.
Yes. All right. Let me see if I could go to the final part of
and systems that
the closure of
that is the government's work.
This message.
And we will continue it. But that work that we do is rooted in something deeper, something much more important. Our great UNC party did not arrive here by accident. It was built by people who knew hardship. It was built by people who knew exclusion, and built by people who understood what it meant to be overlooked, but yet still to rise. So many of you great rank and file members, our ground activists, our foot soldiers, you are the ones who toil and sacrifice. We and I especially honor today. Let us remember too, many of our soldiers have fallen along the way. They've fallen, but their legacies will never be forgotten. I cannot name all of them. If you permit me, I will name our great brother, Don Sylvester. Many will remember a loyal soldier, Don Sylvester, who has fallen along the way, but who stood with us every day. We honor their memories. So many others have passed. I cannot give all the names. But I know Don, when I last spoke to him, he would say he was UNC and proud. He was always UNC. So we thank him so much as we wish him all God's blessings and his family. And so as we honor their memories, I know they're here with us in spirit, cheering us on with pride and love from the great beyond. And because of that unique, inspiring, powerful history we have, the UNC has always stood for more than an organization. The UNC stands for courage. The UNC stands for belief. The UNC stands for a deep and enduring faith that no matter how long the night, the sun will always rise in the morning. And that same faith in God is what has carried our country through difficult times. It is what has sustained our party for 37 years. And it is what now drives the work we are doing to move our great country forward. Because I tell you again, brighter days are ahead. Brighter days are coming. So, that is why our party matters. That is why your loyalty and your sacrifices matter. And that is why, after 37 years, our party, your party still stands. You know why? Because our party was built by you, our great members, believers, and our beloved UNC continues to be carried by you. Again I say, brighter days are ahead. UNCN proud. Let me hear you, UNCN proud. And as I come to you today, I want to talk to you about jobs. Because that is one of the loudest cries before the general election, even after.
Well, of course, we'll have to pause. We'll have to pause here, and tomorrow we will continue. I mean, it's after 10 o'clock. I have to be on the ground report in the morning. Of course, I have to prepare. So just a little bit that you would have missed. I think you would have gotten the gist of what she wanted to present to the population, which of course is loyalty, patriotism, and of course better days are coming. And of course, she has identified those elements that would have, if we had left them alone, would have impeded the progress and the acquisition of government by the UNC and the coalition of interests. So I think she has touched everything that is necessary, but most important, better days are coming. Have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless, and see you, of course, tomorrow night when we will continue with the closing part of this. I don't want you to miss a piece of it, and then, of course, we will look at that 500 million loan, as well as that bolt arrangement that caused the construction of the headquarters of the Ministry of Health, a similar scheme. And then, of course, we will, of necessity, have to look at what transpired in Tobago, where that initiative, that scheme was introduced by the PNM through Rahal and others, the former mayor of Port of Spain. He and, of course, his children, and then the Greenvale development, where a riverbed was sold as lands that was fit for residential property, and for a pound and a crown, as part and parcel of the scheme, quite apart, of course, from the recusals and the corruption, nepotism, which would have included, of course, the perversion of the course of justice as far as the fake oil is concerned. And we will look at other issues. But let's call it an end. Right? Have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. Bye-bye.
Trinidad is a boat sailing on the earth. Go sail on it. Oh Lord, I go sail on it. Whether it fast or slow, wheresoever it goes, I go in with it. Tell them I go in with it. I go sail when the tide is slack. I go sail when the tide is near. If she go
Trinidad is my land, and of it I am proud and glad. But I can't understand why some people just talk it bad. But I know all of them we running them out. Don't know where they're talking about. They would paint your black every day, and the right things they would never say. Like our sportsmen being rated among the best. Our scholars have sit and passed every test, and put us right alongside the rest.
Once upon a time there was a magic island full of magic people. Let me tell you a story about their pain and their glory. Oh yeah. Many rivers flow to this naked eye, bringing fear and pain, but also a brand new style. And of all these rivers that shape this land, two mighty ones move like a sculptor's hand. And today those hands across the land, man, is still landscaping. And there's no doubt we can work it out, there is no escaping. As the river flows, there are those who will change its passage. But every common man got to understand up and send a message. So put up your hand if you understand. Now come, see how we moving, watch how we grooving, see how we step in style. One lovely nation under a groove, the Ganges don't meet the Nile. Them boys with the hidden agendas and the mind benders, people don't take it front. We are smart men and politicians can come along if they want, cause the